Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sree's daily global COVID-19 show. My name is Sree Sreenivasan, and it's my honor to convene this daily conversation around all things COVID. Today is the last of the Stony Brook journalism episodes. My students have been producing several episodes over the last few weeks as part of our Digital Innovations in Journalism course at Stony Brook School of Journalism. They've done an amazing job, and we're very grateful to them. Today's episode is produced by Joyce A., Shannon Fan, and Brennan Souhrada. Today's topic and episode number is 234, Working Conditions Under COVID. And we have two folks in different fields who will explain to us what it's like to work under COVID-19. We'll talk about the economy, we'll talk about their work, we'll talk about their lives, and what we can learn through the process. You'll be meeting Foley Chew, a field construction engineer, and Adam Eng, a restaurant manager. You'll meet both of them and Joy and Shannon in just a couple of minutes. Hi, everybody. I'm Sree. Thank you so much for being here. Very grateful to you. I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism and the co-founder of Digimentors, a social, digital, and virtual events consulting company. We are always looking to talk to folks about their virtual events, so please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. If you haven't seen our episodes before, we've had more than 230 episodes in 230 days, more than 419 guests from 71 cities and 20 countries. You can find our archives, youtube.com/Sreenet, and we are live on scroll.in and Scroll Global. We're very grateful to our producers, Rose Horowitz at Rose Horowitz 31 and Vandana Menon, Vandana_Menon. Please share this with your friends and family. We're live right now on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. What has it been like where you've been working? What have you learned, and what would you like to share? And tell us where you're watching from as well. So first, let me tell you again who our guests are. Adam Eng, a restaurant manager, and Foley Chew, a field construction engineer. And that photograph you see is taken in one of the subway tunnels in Brooklyn, and he'll talk all about his work in just a minute. But first, let's say hello to Joy and Shannon, who are students at Stony Brook, who helped put this together with their classmate, Brennan. So let's say hello. Hi, folks.
Hi.
Hi.
We should point out that Joy is calling in from Hong Kong. She's one of our students who, as you know, a lot of international students got stuck outside the US, and that happened to her. So what time is it in Hong Kong now?
It is now 9 a.m.
Okay, so I hope you got some sleep during the night. I know you've been keeping US hours so that you can go to school. Like my class is at 1:15 p.m., which is 1:15 a.m. for you. So how are things in Hong Kong?
I'm glad to say that things are getting better. We've seen the COVID cases coming down, but we're still strictly adhered to social distancing rules.
That's good. I cannot say the same about America, sadly, as you know. Let's ask Shannon how she's doing. And where are you, Shannon?
I'm in my room. Yeah, I've been doing good. New York, the coronavirus cases have been, I think we've been handling it okay. Phase 2 is opening up, and there's more places opening up.
All right. So tell us about this episode tonight and about our guests, and then we'll bring them on.
So tonight's episode is going to be the differences working in COVID and pre-COVID. So we're going to be asking our guests like what their workplaces have been taking as precautions to the pandemic.
All right, terrific. So our guests are Adam Eng and Foley Chew. They're going to be on with us. I'm just going to ask them my first thing. Let me say hello to them. Hello, folks. How are you? Thank you for being here. Adam just closed his restaurant and stayed late so that he could do this with us. Thank you very much. And Foley, thank you for being here. My first question always is, how are you? Where are you? And how's your family handling the pandemic? Foley, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I'm good. So my parents are in Malaysia right now, so they're handling pandemic pretty well. So they're still being active, like complying with all those rules and regulations to in terms of social distancing. And as for myself, I'm at my room right now, and then like so I have been working on the field and work from home from time to time, depending on the project where the project takes me. Yeah.
So great. We'll hear about your projects in just a minute. Let's ask Adam. Where are you, Adam? And tell us about your store.
Hi. Actually, I'm in the store right now. So I'm living in New York too, and I'm with my parents here. So I'm just like working like the daytime until night, and I see before like everything about the pandemics. You see like horrible, you know.
And are you feeling like things are getting a little better? And where are you, by the way? Where is your store? And tell us about it too.
Oh, my store was on Manhattan's on West 39th Street. So I see. I don't think like in this year they were coming back everything business, no matter like office, restaurant, everything. I feel.
And so we'll learn more about it. Thank you both for being here. I'm going to hand you now over to my students. Shannon and Joy are going to take over. So I'm going to step out and hand you over to Joy. Thanks.
Thank you again, Foley and Adam, for being on our show. So our first question would be asking how your work is like before COVID. Like, what is the routine of your work? Let's start with Foley.
Hello. So yeah, at the beginning, like before pre-pandemic, I was a bridge engineer. So I was working on a project, which is I just finished inspection, and then we are proceeding to final design phase for Williamsburg Bridge, and it was the beginning phase of my project, the bridge project I was talking about. It's like it commenced in March, but when the pandemic, like the lockdown official occurs, so like a lot of projects that involve in government funding has been temporarily stopped. So we had to like, there's a time for me from March to April. So I was like working more on home until like the beginning of May to June. My company decides to transit, like to make me transfer to construction. So that's where I start to work with like clients such as New York City Transit. And so there's a couple of roles I was handling, which is like we have to go to the site day to day to do some inspections, and then to document some structural defects in the stations. And that time, like it's a huge transition for me because design work has stopped. So we have to move on to like ongoing construction projects throughout the city. So for me, so I think I did not count how many stations I have visited, but pretty much I had been traveling all around system-wide stations in New York City within a couple months. So it's kind of interesting. At the same time, you can see like the city became like so empty. It's not as it's a huge difference when you travel from city to city. You see Times Square being like there's no people in Times Square, and that's a huge a new view throughout my years of yeah.
It must be a surreal feeling seeing no one being on the street.
Yeah, it surprised me. Like you never expect Times Square to be empty,
Yeah.
So it's a new experience, and I wish that it would change in the future.
Right. What about Adam? Your restaurant is right in Manhattan, so it must be, you see this every day. You see the changes, and you feel the changes firsthand. So what is it like before COVID? How do you operate your restaurant?
Always people like on the street. You will see a lot of travelers, a tourists, a hotel busy, everything. But when the COVID coming on March something, I believe I closed it down on March 1st on the store, and then I don't see. I mean, I see the streets like empty, it's quiet, and you don't you what you see only in the Manhattan's homeless. We see a lot of homeless coming out, and you don't see everyone is the local people is staying there. They're coming out. And after 3 months, I came back here. I mean, every single month I back to here. I would check it out, like see what happens, what news here. Everyone just tell me that it's so quiet, it's empty. You know, you just before that people say like New York City was like not quiet, like busy, a big party, big cities. But right now you see like quiet. You don't even see like 10 people in the streets. This make you feel like horrible, I think. And after I open it on June, when I see the first June here, same like a lot of homeless, and a month and another month they pass it. But right now, I mean, like after 3 months, on September, October, it's getting better. But it's not like before. We drop a lot. I think all the restaurant, as I know around here, some of them they closed down. Probably like they closed because the business, and same as mine, we dropped 80% business. It's making it so hard for life right now.
Right. What is the the main cuisine you're doing for your restaurant? Is it like a Chinese restaurant or is it like
Oh no, it's kind of
Western?
like a bubble tea. Actually, it's like the international bubble tea place here. Because I used to run a lot of locations on, I mean, not even New York. I'm run to New Jersey and probably like New York upstairs. Right now, all I do is sitting here, just sitting stay homes or working. That's it. It's not like before.
Right. So I'm gonna follow up on that. So have you been changing the business, the way you do business? For example, is delivery an option for bubble tea? Is it gonna be harder for people, or like will people be less interested in ordering bubble tea
Yeah, of course,
during?
they enjoying for the delivery, everything. I mean, before the pandemic, I still doing the delivery business. It's running good, but after the pandemic, I don't see a lot of business comebacks. Not really, because my business area was based up to the Chinese, the Asians. But as I know, I hear around my friends, they maybe like 50%, 60% people are going back China's, so they don't have much people over here. So of course the business going down, and some of the weather's coming in. Not really people like it, the cold drinks or anything.
Right. So with that, how would you like? This is a question for both of you. I guess all of us are kind of affected economically, financially by the pandemic, and how are you coping that during COVID, on a financial term?
On the COVID. So we take out, I mean, I used to running a store like more than 10 people, more than 10 workers over here. But right now we only left two workers, and also we cutting out the payment, we counting by the hours, and also see they will accept or not. Because I know right now it's like so hard. You're looking job around here. It's really hard right now.
Yeah,
So I mean, once they say yes, they will fight for me. I say I promise all of them. I say once the business coming back, um, I will give you all I can, like the benefit, any offer I can give you. The same like a before. I say, but right now I hope like maybe someone can stay with me and fight with me after the pandemic. Maybe see what's happened on the next years. So everything like before. I mean, the finance we have to control the rents, the food costs, everything. So I mean, I talked to them, the landlord. We talk about the rent, everything. See what they're gonna do for me.
right.
Hmm.
What about Foley? Are you?
Well,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
No.
for me, I think I'm lucky enough that it did not hit me too much. Like other than that, like as I say, like before that, I was working in a bridge department, and then I was transferred to CCM construction, which is called capital construction management, and it sort of hits my company a little, and as in like our company, we work based on projects. So when some of the projects has been cut off, and it sort of hits us a little, and I heard that some of managers and some of the close co-workers of mine, they have been furloughed or being laid off due to the projects that initially like in the planning phase has been stopped. So like it hurt like some people, like a portion in the company I work for. But for me, I did got switched to part-time for a month, and then like that time HR told us that, oh, like you have to choose, like maybe like sacrifice, like use your PTO as a to they switched me to part-time and then suggest that I can use my pay time off to compensate for the remaining 20 hours I work for. And then around May, it's sort of like I was still I'm eligible for the what is it called, the unemployment for a month. And then around like May or June, they sort of transfer me back to full time, and I start working in the construction field since. So in terms of like my experience towards it, I'm just lucky that I have a job, and that keeps me going, that I can still work, like to be active and work, like something like that.
Yeah, it's great to know that you still, have the job security and financial security. Yeah, it's really great. What about the learning curve for you to transition from designing department to like construction department, which requires more hands-on, hands-on work?
So that's a very interesting, like one of the questions I sort of enjoy, like for myself personally, as in like in design, you look at drawings, you sort of like you're like drafting, you have to understand, you have to like look through all those drawings and understand the design mechanics of it. And usually chances are you won't be in the field as much, as you will be more stationed in the office working with computers, doing calculations, drawing and such. But in the field, when you're doing inspection, you're doing running construction work, there's a new learning curve, as in you're dealing with different you're dealing with a lot of coordinations between contractors, subcontractors, and sometimes even a government agency. So when I was in a construction field, I learned that it's not just pure math, physics, and like what we are taught in school. It's more towards the like how do you deal with a variety of kind of people, and how do you get the job done within the scheduled time frame. Because like right now, like everything is within a budget, so like we sort of learn a new thing, which is you have to adapt the stress on how do you work in the field. And it's also what I like working in construction, as in you can see things like face to face. So like you get to travel to different locations to look at different structures, like, and I think that's a huge experience that I can absorb like through this phase. And what I like the most is that at the same time, it's just you travel to different places that not all of the not everyone can have access. It's just kind of fun.
Right. So you said you got a lot of traveling. So what do you do to protect yourself when traveling to work or at work?
So it's kind of interesting when we are first introduced to how to use because that during that phase, like the lockdown phase, like people are trying to establish different ways to make sure that the projects run smoothly. At the same time, like all workers are protected. So we used to have those covert forms, like the ones you see in a restaurant recently, but like transit, they have up to 20 questions. Like it comes from like the regular checkup routine. Do you have a fever? Did you did you have contact with any people that have been traveling abroad for the last 14 days and such? And at the same time, they implement strongly in terms of disinfection. So they make sure that you sanitize all the equipment you use, and they make sure that everyone is obligated to put on your mask during work, and make sure that whenever we travel to a specific location, we are entitled to put the location where we are going to. So it's a variety of form that makes sure that we are keep track. So God forbid, if one of us is contacted with the virus, it's easy to reach out to other contractors or employees that we work together. Yeah, and they even set up like a special COVID-19 inspector to travel to the work field to make sure that we comply to all those rules. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. And then and one good thing is that the subway wasn't as crowded as before, so I would consider it's pretty safe when we are traveling outside to work that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's assuring to hear that, and subway isn't crowded as before. So I'm gonna ask the same question to Adam, but after that, Shannon, can you pick up from there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Adam, what do you do to protect yourself and your employees, like apart from protecting your customers during the COVID?
Can you say that again?
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
sure. What do you do to protect yourself and your employees during COVID?
Well, we just like do whatever the pandemic say. Like we wear masks, and then we take the glove, and we take like the customer and the register 6 feet in the betweens. So every time we give it the order, whatever, everything, we just like separately everything. Just give it to you like your orders. I put it tables there, and you bring yourself. And also on the employees, we don't do really much. Every day we came in here, we check the body temperatures, so make sure she don't get any like lowers the temperature like lower than 36, I think 36, 35 something. So once she have it, I think we got a big problems.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Shannon, do you have specific questions for?
So following up on what Joy asked, how does the restaurant handle COVID-19 safety procedures, and how do you handle a customer that doesn't follow these procedures or refuses to?
Oh, well, that's a good question for me. Okay, the first how I handle for my customer, because I will put the big poster on the front of the door, say like everyone that came in here, we requirement for the mask, definitely with the mask, and also like we have to support maybe like order on the phone or something.
Mm-hmm.
So and then after, I don't really think I have a big rules for my employers. We just like we believe each other. We just check each other every day in the body temperatures.
Okay.
So we don't make much, because I don't want to make this thing like come so serious. You know the words like coming so serious, and why I want to make people like feel so scared. So I trust you. All I'm gonna do, I just trust you. Okay, I say that's all I want to say. I'm not gonna make so much happen. That's
Yeah. Are regular masks or facial cloth coverings okay, or do you guys require surgical masks when
I require like two masks, two of the regular masks.
Like
you have to wear, yeah, even including for myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How has the restaurant scene changed since the pandemic? Do you guys get more customers now than before, or less?
We lost 80%.
So for both of you, I know that since COVID-19, a lot of the workforce has changed, and I was wondering, how do you guys deal with the stress of your like daily routine changing and maybe less stability?
Mm, I mean, I don't have stress for that. I just want to figure out like how I'm gonna do for the business come back. I mean, everyone they have stress. So what I'm doing is I keep thinking. So what I want to make the business come back, like maybe a promotion or maybe a discount or like just after the social media everywhere, let the customer knows, all my regular customer that we open. You can trust us everything, and we do a lot of posted on media or something to share to the customer. They will seal it.
What about Foley?
For me, I think like stress, definitely there is stress, as in you start to question yourself like this new social norm, what is gonna change, and I sort of think that is it gonna impact my career in a long run? And good thing is that it's manageable. It's not a huge stress, as in you're unemployed. So there's a time that I used to overthink myself, but right now I think as long as I'm fit, like people, like my company keep feeding me work, and I just started to like enjoy the time learning of it, learning like different projects to projects. And in terms of stress, there's a month before I move to construction, as like work starts to slow down, and you start to worry that like, are we gonna get more work if these situations keep like worsen? So, but on the bright side is that everything starts to like all good news start to surface up eventually, and then it's like there's a silver lining like out of everywhere or something.
Yeah. I think with your job, field construction engineer, a lot of people are not familiar with that or what you do. Can you take us through your daily routine and like what your job is?
So construction there's a two like multiple pathways. So sometimes you work in the field, which is you attend to construction field, you work with the contractors to know, like you look at the you bring your drawings there, you look at work with your contractors to see that the works is going to be done. So like currently, like we work a lot in terms of repairing the structural, what is it called, the structural integrity of the state of the transit station system wide. So like for me, construction, I work in a building sector, which is that we sort of like might during my what I work on is I work with inspecting. So I have traveled to all vents, which is like what is it called, a, an empty chamber, which is like to for the to serve as a ventilation purpose for track tunnels. So, and I also been through a couple emergency exits to look at the structural condition of it. And I say it's a very interesting job, because especially working in the city, because usually like when I was working on this project, a lot of the construction phase started at night. So there's a week or two I had been spending my time at work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So which is because like due to travel, like they can't stop the train schedule because you have work there. So you see a lot of different things on it, and then and there's one end which I also experience this. I work in the field office, which you do a lot of planning and management on how to make sure the work go in place. So I will see there's a front line is for the construction field engineers, and the back line is for the office engineer, which supports all those information, coordinating schedule, and payment and such to help to ensure that the construction takes place.
Yeah. You mentioned that you were used to work on the office aspect of construction engineering. So there's a lot more potential risk factors for actually working on the site. So what made you want to transfer?
No. I was not transferred. It's just that that was the time I worked on night shift on a daily basis, which makes me kind of like have some work fatigue, as in like my sleep schedule is kind of affected. So that time I just sort of talked to my project coordinator that, hey, I like to try to work in the office, like work from home, like doing some coordination work, reading RFI, because I came from design background. So I think what I've learned applies to like the office end. But I also, don't get me wrong, I also like working in the construction field because you get to see more and more things. So I like to balance them both, because like, let's say I'm tired of staying at home working, I can just go to the field and then take a, like, you're traveling because of work, not that you are traveling for the sake of traveling.
Yeah. So for your workplace, are facial cloth coverings or surgical masks enough, or do you guys have any like respirators?
So no, I would say, because my manager, which is good in, like, he emphasized safety a lot, and in construction, safety is a very huge deal. So if you don't have it, I guarantee that the contractors have extra to spare, and we are always loaded up ourselves with sanitizers, safety like inspection glove and such. So I'd say it's not an issue when it comes to face glove and such. Maybe for the first week, we wasn't expecting that there's so many teams going out there, but like that issue gets taken care of very quickly, and we don't see any issues.
Okay. What other safety measures is your workplace taking to prevent COVID spreading? And if an employee does come into contact with COVID-19, is the workplace reliable?
So is this for me?
Yeah, both of you.
Maybe Foley could take the question first.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. I sort of like.
What other measures is your workplace taking to prevent COVID spreading? And if an employee does come into contact with COVID, is the workplace reliable?
Oh. I never, like, so far we did not face any situation like this. Like, there's two reasons as such that like I did not face this scenario. And the second thing is that because we work from different location, which is a public space, so it's hard to say that what I haven't experienced what measurement to the extent that are they gonna disinfect the whole station, or are they gonna like just leave it be? But as in my office recently, they established a rule that they start to split up the usual team. Like if you want to go back to work, like we set up a rule that a weekly basis. So you go to the work, if you want to work in the office, you came to the office this week, and next week you work from home. Following by the next week, you came back to the office. It's just, and I think that answers the question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. What about Adam?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you say just now. Can you please repeat again?
Yeah. What other safety measures is your workplace taking to prevent COVID from spreading? And if an employee does come into contact with COVID, is the workplace reliable for it? Like if an employee in the restaurant does actually come into contact with COVID-19, is the workplace going to be reliable for it?
No, actually, we just like
Or
I
has it
prefer.
not happened yet?
You hear me right now?
Yeah.
I would prefer auto customer like they don't doing cash. Like
What?
Hi, folks. Sree here. Just stepping in. This is such a great conversation. We've learned so much. We have some comments coming in. Let me read some of those comments. Rajini's watching from Toronto. Jonathan's watching from the East Village. He's watched 234 episodes in a row. My mom is watching from Kerala in India. Hi, Amma. Love you very much. Pradnya is watching from Silver Spring. And Fernando's watching from LA. And Charles and Mary are watching from New Jersey. We're very grateful to them for being with us and for watching. All of these great folks. Stefan's watching, says, hi, everyone. Wonderful to be here. Vote. No taking our foot off the gas. Can't stop, won't stop. Responsible for what happens next. Peggy's watching from Seoul. So great to have everyone here. I just want to say that Stefan, who is on our team at Digimentors, has a great show tomorrow. Let's Talk Photography and Social Media. It airs at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and his guest is Bill Wadman, who is a photographer, and his Instagram is @BillWadman. So please check out @Spinit Social. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Before we wind up here, I want to ask each of our guests to talk. Foley, if you can tell us what is in store for you in the next few months. Have you seen things pick up, and are you, in the winter months, what happens in the kind of work you do in the field?
So recently I got a news that my previous bridge project job is back, which is yes, and I'm not sure how, we still haven't reached to the point that we are discussing like based on what we see recently, we know that the case has the case in throughout the states has increased. So, but we are not sure that if it's gonna impact our work much, because the repair is not gonna stay there. The repair has to run, and in order to provide that kind of work, construction, it's has to proceed. But the thing right now is just the funding available, like on the client sector. And as for us right now, hopefully that all I can say is that maintain the safety protocol, like what we have tried to work on in the past, and maintain that kind of quality, the safety quality we have. So I think that should be sufficient, and that's my point of view on that part.
Thank you, Foley. I know your family's in Malaysia. How much do you worry about not being able to see them for several more months at least?
Oh yeah. So from what I heard from them, Malaysia has been through has established another lockdown, and me and my sister, we have been keeping track of the situation there, and hopefully it won't get worse from time to time. But I sort of my intention at first, I plan to go back to Malaysia around January, but right now from the cases in US has worsened, this sort of scenario sort of stopped other country from accepting US travelers to their country. And with the PTO we have, the availability we can stay, I can't afford to just go back to Malaysia and stay there for 2 weeks and then
Yeah, you mean to quarantine first, right? That makes it hard.
Yeah, that makes it hard. And
yeah.
But right now a good thing is that if I'm working from home, or which we can work remotely, maybe that would help too. So that situation sort of rely on how do I want to make it work, and how I have to coordinate with my company to see if that my manager to see if they're willing to let me work remotely from Malaysia, something like that.
Yeah, and that's harder in your field where you have to be in the field. That's in the title of your job. Let's see if we can get Adam back. Otherwise, as we wrap up here, I want to ask our students what in terms of your own work at school. Well, let me talk to Joy in Hong Kong. What is your anticipation of when you will be able to come back to the U.S. and pick up your studies? What is your plan?
Yeah, I mean, being online all the time is difficult. So I originally planned to come back maybe for this spring semester, but now, as Foley mentioned, cases in the U.S. are climbing up again. I'm not sure if that's gonna, change my plan. So I'll still have to see, and I guess wait until December and at least after the election to decide whether I would be staying in Hong Kong or going back to U.S. for the next semester.
Thank you. And let's go to Adam for a final question. Adam, tell us about, we read that a lot of restaurants have said that they need to get more government help. Did you get any government help? And any chance of getting more government help?
I wish, but honestly, we have one chance before that on May. The government just send some help to us, but after May we don't have any more help. But I wish the government give it more opportunity to helping us, like the small business we run up, at least end of the years.
And so you definitely need that, right, for your work. Let's get the name of your bubble tea restaurant so that people who can go and support you as well.
I think it's okay.
Oh, you don't want to tell us? Okay, that's
serious. I don't want.
Okay, that's fine.
I just the private interview only. I don't want to share.
Okay, so I understand. No problem. We wish you the very best, Adam. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best as you try to navigate this very complicated situation. And Foley, good luck to you and your family as well.
Thank you.
And let me ask Shannon. Last question, Shannon? What has it been like to be in these virtual classes, and how much do you miss being in a real classroom?
It was definitely a transition at first. I actually used to commute to school, so this has been easier for me. I think it's been harder on Joy though, because she has the time zone difference, and yeah, hopefully we can go back to the classroom next semester, because I think it's like I feel like I pay more attention and I'm more like in a learning kind of zone when I'm physically in a classroom.
Sure. I think this is something that a lot of people are experiencing, and we're all learning. The teachers are learning and the students are learning. And folks, with that, this is the end of our Stony Brook University Journalism School series. We're very grateful to Joy and Shannon and to Brennan, their classmate who helped produce this show. And we're grateful to Foley and Adam for being here with us. And we wish you all the very best. Good luck to everyone, especially as we're watching the news. And with are people paying attention in Hong Kong, Joy, to the U.S. election?
Yes, we get at least 1 or 2 headlines every day on our news.
All right. But I'm sure they're so surprised how crazy the situation here is, and how unusual everything is here. But we're all holding good thoughts. And as Stefan said earlier, everyone, please vote. More important than ever before. And want to tell everyone about what's happening on our shows this week. We have tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. is our next show because it's Saturday. And we have Jerry Kraft with us. He's a New York Times best-selling and Newbery medal-winning author of the graphic novel The New Kid. And his second graphic novel, Class Act, was published this month. He's also the co-founder of the Schomburg Center's annual Black Comic Book Festival. So that's going to be very exciting. That's tomorrow at 9. At 10 a.m., our friend Stefan has his show. And then on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we have Jim Roberts, former editor-in-chief of Cheddar, longtime editor of the New York Times, will be our guest on the New York Times Read-Along, celebrating 5 years. He's the publisher and chief strategy officer of the new website called The 74. So please join us, and we'll have our Sunday night positivity episode as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's say goodbye.